What's going on is Anton from AntonDaniels.com. I appreciate you guys for continuing to rock with me, but I just got home off of an early morning flight, right? First thing through the door, I want to see my family. I love my family. You know, I'm a family man. I'm an advocate for families, right? Second thing, I got to get that hot shower because I got to throw the threads on. The threads make me feel like $1,000,000, but the third thing through my mind and all throughout the trip is that I gotta have that Tej pack. Tej makes my life uncomplicated. It's uncomplicated skincare for men. The first way that I started specifically was their level 1 system. It's a daily face wash to get rid of the dirt and grime on your skin. 2 times per week exfoliating scrub to get rid of the dead skin cells. An AM moisturizer with SPF20 because you should always be protecting your skin from the sun. And a PM moisturizer to help your skin stay hydrated and healthy throughout the night. Here's the thing. My favorite part about Tej Henley is that every box comes with an instruction card that tells you when to use each product, how much to use, and in what order. They really making the process of achieving and maintaining amazing skin for men uncomplicated. In addition to amazing skin, members of Tej Henley get tons of benefits, including at least 20% off the retail price, the ability to customize your box, exclusive monthly deals, you can pause and cancel at any time, and you get free shipping. And because Tej Henley is sponsoring today's video, they're offering my viewers an amazing deal, right? Just click the first link in the description and you get 30% off your first box, plus a free gift. It's an amazing deal. You got to get started today. You're not out here trying to look like a dusty. And if you travel as much as I do, which I'm sure most people don't, but you know me, I'm pushing my bag chasers in order to be in the top 5%, top 10%, top 1%. We got to make our lives uncomplicated, and Tej Henley is no better product. You got to look good. You got to smell good. And you can't be looking like a dusty. Make sure you get started today. Click the link in the description. Get that Tej pack. Feel the Tej, my friends. What's going on is Anton from AntonDaniels.com. I appreciate you guys for continuing to rock with me. It is Thursday, March 9th, 2023, year of our Lord. Thursdays, we do Lapeef Let's Talk. We got a lot of awesome things that's lined up for you guys. I also dropped a video inside of the Patreon. Really, you can do your thing. It's not. Go ahead. I don't care. We also dropped a video inside of the Patreon today, this morning. So for those of you that want to tune into that after the show, you're more than welcome to do so. And right now I am live streaming from the crib. I do plan on being in the office possibly later on today, but we'll see how that plays out. But before we get started, let me tap into my friends and family and see what the streets is talking about. I see a lot of activity in the chat as far as the people that supporting the platform. Let me just get straight to the super chats. First of all, shout out to Demetrius Shaw. Demetrius Shaw says incomes seem to be stagnant while stocks seem to have increased exponentially in the past 5 years. What happens if they get too expensive? Much love. I don't think that they can get too expensive. I think that if you start evaluating what your investment strategy is based off of the value that it brings and not necessarily how expensive the stock is. I'll give you an example. Berkshire Hathaway stock historically has been over $100,000, $200,000 per share. Now, a lot of people will say, well, that's expensive. Well, you got to get the return on shareholder value. You also have to understand how many shares is outstanding. Shares outstanding meaning how many shares is issued to the general public. So, for example, when a company does a stock split, and a stock split is, let's just say, for example, Tesla at some point or Amazon or Microsoft said, hey, the stock is at $2,000 per share. We want to give you an 8 for 1 or a 10 for 1 or whatever it is, right? And then basically they create more shares outstanding, and then you just divide how many shares into the amount of this, the current stock price. And then basically you have more shares, but it's just at a cheaper price so that you can basically substantiate your portfolio by having more shares. And it makes it more accessible and it's more marketable to the general public in order for them to be able to invest in that particular stock. But my point that I'm making to you is that the value of the stock itself is based off of a lot of different factors and not necessarily just on the price itself. When you're talking about when stocks get too expensive, it's just really the valuation of the company. Is the company itself overvalued? And then how many shares outstanding? And then what do you see that company doing in the future? For most people, honestly, Demetrius, and I'm probably giving y'all way too much game because this is Patreon talk. So Demetrius, listen, for those of you that are in the chat, blame Demetrius for having me giving Patreon a little small tidbit of what it is that we talking about in the Patreon to the general public. For most of y'all need to do dollar cost averaging. Dollar cost averaging is basically taking a percentage of your income and automating it as far as what it is that you invest in personally into whatever it is that you invested into. What you decide to invest into is a completely different conversation. You need to tap into the Patreon in order to watch the video of the 8 things that I look for when I'm looking to invest in a company. Again, tap into the Patreon. Link is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat of how it is that I evaluate whether or not I'm going to invest in company A, company B, or I'm going to take my whole portfolio and then move it over into real estate or something like that, right? I have a specific strategy that's tailored to me. I'm going to give you the insight as to how it is that I look at things, but I want you to take my strategy and then tailor it to you based off of your investment strategy. And I can go over that in an upcoming webinar. I plan on doing a webinar with Pocket Watching with JT probably next weekend, not this weekend, but next weekend, as far as how it is that you guys need to set up your businesses, what you need to do from a tax perspective, what you can and can't write off, and things like that. So we give a lot of value inside of the Patreon, and I want you guys to be able to tap into that so you can get as much value as you possibly can. Link is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat. Good question, Demetrius, but maybe not for the general public. Tay-Biz TV from the 10 Ball says, showing love, big homie. I appreciate you. Thank you, Tay-Biz, for the early super chat. I appreciate you. And my dog, Mike Jones, is in the building, says, good morning, Anton. Happy Thursday. Yesterday's show was fire. Normally, I disagree with B. Simone. I think you mean B. Taylor. But yesterday, she was on point. I would have you guys to know that B. Taylor, dang, should I be telling y'all this early? I shouldn't tell them that? All right.
Tell them to keep, I can't think of his name on there. Our favorite moderator and his family in their prayers.
Keep Kojak in y'all prayers. Rita be keeping me on point with all of the housekeeping that we got to do. Make sure y'all keep Kojak in y'all prayers. I'm not gonna give his personal information or his business out there, but my dog, I've been knowing him for well over 20 years. Make sure you keep Kojak in your prayers. Upcoming news with B. Taylor very soon. I'll be doing a live stream with Lucky this Sunday. Angry Man will be in Detroit hanging out with me this weekend, so we're going to shoot content. He's going to be on the panel. We got a lot of things going on with that. I'll be in Dallas next week doing my thing down there, and I'm definitely going to link up with my brother from another mother, Charleston White. I got a lot of things going on. I'll be in Vegas. I'll be in the Dominican Republic with my family, not in Sosua. I'll be in Los Angeles at the end of the month. And then we got a Patreon meetup. I think we're going to do our first Patreon meetup of the year in May because I've just been so busy consumed with work and business and flying everywhere. We're going to do our first Patreon meetup in the first week of May. I very much expect for the first Patreon meetup to be in the first week of May. If you're not a part of the Patreon so that you can know exactly where that Patreon meetup is going to be, you know what you need to do. Tap in. Link is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat. Shout out to Mike Jones for holding me down, making sure you take care of me, and every single other person that's in the chat. I appreciate you. I rock with you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. You guys are awesome. Also, Elliot Jackson with the 20 ball. Okay. Says, random question. How do you go about finding a woman that will actually support your vision and work with you? So many girls out here trying to lay around and look pretty, but nobody trying to help me build his real estate business. I'm going to give you the game, and I'm going to be honest with you, and I tell people this a lot. The problem is that you're in spaces to where you then be or put yourself in a position to look at women based off of how it is that they look. It's a strong possibility, Elliot, that the woman that you're supposed to be building with, you already know her. She's probably in your inner circle in your network. You probably don't even look at her as a woman that will help build with you. I know I tell women a lot of times that they've already overlooked or they put a man in a friend zone based off of the person that they're supposed to be with, but we do it also It's just that we're not as overt or direct with it because men tend to shoot their shot a lot more effectively. So if she's not already in your inner circle, which is a strong possibility that she is, because it's the woman that has your best interest at heart, it's going to be your best friend, it's going to be the person that give you the best advice, so on and so forth. Just make sure she ain't somebody else's wife, all right? If she's not already in your inner circle, the way that you find a woman that is on your page and on your vision is you just need to get out and network. Get off the internet, get off these apps, get off of Tinder, get off of Bumble, get off of all of these apps. Go out, authentically interact with different people, and it's a strong possibility that A, you're going to meet her, and y'all just going to connect and be cool, and then you can be able to vet her effectively by being able to see who she is without looking to take off her panties, right? Just the chick that you just want to hang with, chill with, and you have no interest in her, and that way you can see who she truly is. Or B, it's a strong possibility that you need to have somebody introduce you to somebody that they know that's a really good friend of yours, that they can recommend a woman that actually is really, really dope. So I recommend, or I tell people to go about finding a spouse a completely different way than overall society. But what do I know? I've been married for 19 years, almost 2 decades, to the girl that was my best friend. So I can only give you what it is that I know, my friend. Shout out to everybody in the chat. Shout out to everybody that's rocking with you. I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. And let me also say something else. Yeah, I did drop an interview inside of the Patreon today. Let me say something else. A lot of y'all keep talking about what these chicks look like. Cool. And I'm not saying that the pretty girls also don't have great personalities. But the reason that you're so blinded is that you only looking at her looks. You're only looking at her looks. What about all of the other things? I gave y'all a whole list of things that I would look for if I was single, if I was still interested in possibly getting into a relationship with a woman. Y'all need to go and watch that last King Talk. I broke that down. So those are my thoughts on that. You see Rita over here in the refrigerator getting it in. She just had her groceries delivered. She finally starting to embrace these applications and these people that can do the grocery shopping for her sometimes. Dropping stuff out of the refrigerator. I like it. But anyways, let's get into the show. So thank you to everybody that rocked out with the super chats. Thank you to everybody that contributes to the platform. Again, make sure you tap into the Patreon. Link is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat. I did drop a video today. As well as Teach Hanley. Make sure you rock out with Teach Hanley. 30% off your first order plus a free gift. That link is in the description. So I got a full show for you guys today. And I absolutely know that you guys want me to get to the subjects. You want me to talk about the J.J. Redick, Kendrick Perkins, because racism is a big issue in the NBA right now. You want me to talk about the Mexico kidnappings. I know. I'm going to get to it. But before I get to any of that, I want to have a conversation about you or with you about what it is that I see when I'm out and about on a daily basis with regard to success, right? And what I know is the thing that I capitalize off of every single day. Why does it look like I got a stain on my shirt? What is this? What is this right here?
It must be a glare because there's nothing there.
Yeah, it ain't nothing there when I'm looking at it, but then on the screen it seemed like I'm looking at me. I'm not gonna worry about it. Success, right? We live in the softest generation ever. I mean, 2023. I don't care if you're 23, 33, 43, 53, or 63. We live in quite possibly the most cupcake generation ever. And I mean, it spans from the day in which we live to the industry in which you work to the things in which we see online. And people are weak. Listen to me, y'all. I need y'all to really, really capitalize off of this. People are weak. I mean, they are broken. They are emotional. I seen a guy today. I won't say his name, but supposedly he's pretty big. And this dude is all in my comments on different videos, fighting with different people about his perception of himself and stuff like that. And it's not just him. It's just people in general. And so if you go to work, right, or you play sports, or you are a content creator on social media, do you know how easy it is to be able to destroy these people? And when I say destroy, I'm not talking about their character or their personas or anything like that. I'm reading super chats throughout the show. Absolutely. I got you. Thank you, Michael Jones. But I'm saying, like, surpass them. make more money than them, outdo them at the thing that they're supposedly great at. They're weak. I mean, they are self-conscious. They broken. Everybody needs therapy. Everybody's upset with one another. If you have any balls about yourself, and I'm talking about the ladies and the men, if you even have a little bit of courage, endurance, mental fortitude, if you can just hold on and then be able to get past the emotional state that you in, you will absolutely destroy and dominate in every single form and fashion. I think it's really, really a benefit that I came from, or I was born and raised in the inner city of Detroit, because it toughened me up, right? And I think that that's one of the problems that a lot of the kids are experiencing today, is that every time they fell, you picked them up. Every time they cut themselves, you kiss their little boo-boo, right? Well, my daughter, and I'm very glad that I put her in Taekwondo, is because she got thicker skin. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes she may get a little bit upset at certain things or whatever, so on and so forth. But then 5, 10, 15 minutes later, or she might sleep that junk off and she back to normal and she back on her grind, she back on her hustle. You know what I'm saying? I could tell her, Leslie, I need you to start being a little bit careful on this, or take care of that, or whatever, so on and so forth. And it's going to bother her, right? But then at the same time, she got that mental fortitude, and it comes from the early losses. It comes from when she suffers. When she was just in Vegas for her competition, and she was going through it, and she would call and she said, "Mom and Dad, I'm tired, but I got this. I made the semifinals. I'm about to go to this next competition." And I would tell Rita, and Rita would be trying to encourage her, like, "You got this," or whatever. And I would be like, "Just let her be. Just let her be. It doesn't matter whether she wins or loses. It matters about the lesson that she learns as a result of it. And as a result of it, there's nothing you can say or do that'll break her. It's nothing that you can say or do that's going to prevent her from absolutely destroying you. It's nothing that you can say or do that's not going to prevent her from being able to go into school in which she lives and goes to school in a predominantly white district, and she does not feel inferior. She doesn't think that anybody is better than her. She doesn't run in the Olympics. She's not looking for a form of racism in order to make an excuse as to why she can't get good grades. If she comes home, she says, "Listen, I don't think that my teacher like her." I'm going to be like, "Well, figure out how to make them like you. Toughen up. That's life." I'm not going up there and talking to the teacher. I don't even want to know your teachers until parent-teacher conference at all. We live in the weak. Listen. What I'm trying to tell you is that we live in an environment where there's a tremendous amount of opportunity and a big transfer of wealth. And the only thing that will be preventing you from getting it is whether or not you get in your emotions, or you let people get to you to prevent you from doing the thing that's best for you. If you let somebody trick you out of your bag, that's your fault. If you lean into the victim Olympics in order to try to substantiate whether or not somebody should validate how it is that you need to be looking at things, that's your fault. If you don't get the opportunity, if you don't get the job, if you don't get this money, if you're not successful, if you're not intentional about the things that you go about doing, that's your fault. If your family is messed up, that's your fault. If your people don't like you, that's your fault. If you didn't divest against the people that's not best for you and then find your family, which could be in the Patreon, that's your fault. And the thing that's going to get you over the hump, and the thing that's going to ensure that you're incredibly successful, is when you leverage the fact that everybody else is cupcakes, and then you take them in your hand and you crumble them. I'm coming for everything. All of these women that's in the sisterhood that's been protecting black women, and you sitting here and you whine and you making live streams and you saying that, yeah, Anton got this platform and he uses it in order to be able to say whatever it is that he want to say, and he should be encouraging women. I'm coming for you. I am going to break you. I have a level of endurance in me that's unmatched. I don't stop. I don't stop dropping videos. I don't stop doing live streams. I don't stop looking for the opening and the opportunity in order to break you. I don't stop researching you. I don't stop paying attention. I'm coming for everything. If you're a part of the sisterhood and you're not doing a thing that's the best for your community, and you won't hear and you spewing all of this nonsense, I'm gonna get you. If you one of these weak men and you a simp, and you supporting feminism, not only by championing all of these trash narratives that's being spewed across the internet, but also in your own life by not being a reflection of the thing that you're supposed to be, I'm coming for you. If you are a person that is a weak link, but you continue to drag everybody down back to hell with you with all of your ways and your talking points that's not best for the community, I'm coming for you. I have no strings on me. I have no one that controls me. I have nobody that can say that they can take away anything from me, that I will not be straight as a result of it. I have enough money put up to where I can live the rest of my life, and I don't have to worry about, using this in order to be able to substantiate my lifestyle. I have no limits. I have no empathy. I have no care for how you feel. It does not matter to me. If you are not my wife, my child, or a bag chaser, and let's be clear, I'm even willing to sacrifice a little bit of that in order to be able to get to you. You don't really know what you're dealing with. You don't really know what you're dealing with. I'm a sociopath. I don't feel in a way that you think that people should feel. I'm not going to therapy. I'm coming to get you. A lot of the ways in which I've been able to be successful is I'm negatively motivated. So the thing that you tell me I can't have, or the money that you tell me I can't get, or the opportunity that you say ain't there, I will create it, I will make it, and then I will break you as a result of it. If you think that it's over just because you thought that you said something that was cool or were clever, or you put together your little clique, there is no one and nothing, both in real life or on this internet, because internet is real life. Let's be clear. It's real life. There is nothing or no one that has ever been formed up against me that has ever been successful long term. Eventually, I break you. Eventually, I find you. And eventually, it's over. The thing that's in your best interest, and this is the thing that I'm trying to tell y'all, the thing that's in your best interest is it's best to be on my team. Because I have no limits. I don't care how much you have. I don't care where you are. I don't care what country you reside in. I don't care what part of the United States you hang in. I'm a forever person, which means that it doesn't matter if it's tomorrow. It don't matter if it's a month from now, 6 months from now. I didn't forget about you. I did not forget about you. I forgave you, but I still think you need to be held accountable for your actions. We're not going to absolve you of that. You didn't learn a lesson. Just because I forgave you didn't mean that you learned a lesson. So be careful of what it is that you say and how you play it, because I am taking no prisoners. I don't believe in prisoners of war. I believe in execution. And this is the mentality. I'm trying to get y'all the game. This is the mentality that you guys need to have when it comes to going for the thing that you know is yours. It's yours. And can't nobody stop you from getting it but you. All of that money, all of that success, being a millionaire, all of that stuff. You think I'm stopping at being a millionaire? Think I'm stopping at being a decamillionaire? You think I'm stopping at 100 million? I will be in this race until I physically have no ability to be able to do so ever again in my life. And when I'm dead and gone, you're going to say he got everything out of that little 5'7" body that he has. Every single thing that you could have possibly achieved in a frame that is black and 5'7", I will have it. I am going to get it. And if you don't have that mentality, then don't even call me for a coaching call, because you're not ready. Don't send me no email for a coaching call, because you're not ready. You got to have the mental fortitude to be able to take this. You got to have the mental fortitude to be able to deal with this. I'm coming for everything. Everything and everyone. White people, black people, men, women, whoever it was that they thought that they was in a privileged situation, you have a rude awakening, because I'm coming. And there's no way that you can compete against a person that's willing to die for what they believe in. You know how to fight a terrorist? You know how you got to just kill him. You got to destroy everything. If you're not willing to die, if you're not willing to die for what you believe in, just move on out the way, because I'm coming for you. I'm Michael Myers. I'm the Michael Myers of the internet. I'm coming for you. It's over. is over. So let me get to some of these super chats because I know y'all was over here doing it, but you know me. Sometimes I just start talking my talk and I have to talk about it. I want to get into the show. Shout out to Mike Jones says, damn, here's a 20 ball for messing up B. Taylor's name. Mike, you ain't got to give 20 just for messing up a name. Me and B. Taylor working. Don't worry about that. JT of the Bag Chasers with the 20 ball. Oh, my God. Says, Anton, if you need a ride from the airport when you touch down in Dallas next week, I got you. You know I be moving fast. I don't even think you're going to be up at the time that I land in Dallas, big dog. I ain't even going to front. But I appreciate the offer. Persevere Data TV is in the building. Says, having a personal trainer has the same effect. Whenever I think I want to quit, my trainer starts laughing at me. That ish fires me up. And I carry that fire everywhere in life. That's true. You got to have the people that surround you that's going to push you and hold you accountable. Stop having people around y'all that make y'all feel comfortable about where you are in life. If you don't get upset, if you don't get bothered by some of the things that the people around you say, just inherently, not that you're mad at them, but mad at the things that you are as a result of how it is that they operate, if it doesn't bother you to be in last place at a group that you win, let me give you another hint. If you're not in last place at a group that you win, then you in the wrong circle. If you're not in last place, meaning that you don't want to be the best of the worst, you want to be the worst of the best, and that way you continuing to propel yourself to be even more successful because now you're inspired by, influenced by, and being impacted by people that's done more than you and been more successful for you. If you're not just continuing to level up in the room that you win and you in a room where you always the best person in the room, you're doing wrong. Shout out to Persevere Data TV. I like that. Also, let me tap into Malika Mbain. Or I'm sorry, Malika. Awesome advice and information. Thank you, my friend. I appreciate you. The BIG podcast says, I got a story and it made me. Sometimes I laugh at how the old me will respond when the outside forces try it. Salute AD, you're motivating the dogs. Shout out to my people with the fireball. Burns says, victorious warriors win first and then go to war, while defeated warriors go to war first and then seek to win. Sun Tzu. Have you ever read the Art of War? Y'all should go and look at that. It's a really good book. JT of the Bag Chaser says, I know Anton Cook can get those likes up with the 10 ball. My girl Yvette Marie says, do it, Anton. No strings on me, Yvette. Let me also holla at Elliot Jackson says, got me ready to move to Detroit. Exactly what I need around me. King Music says, just paying dues. I appreciate everybody that contributes to the platform. Roof Day One says, I'm an old school bag chaser. Keep it, nah. We just bag chasers. We don't put no labels on it. We just go for it. Jay Hunter Lee says, brother AD, salute to you. Stay blessed. Thank you, Jay Hunter Lee. I appreciate you. Thank you to everybody that's contributing to the platform. I'm going to continue to have this conversation and read super chats throughout the show. But let me go ahead and get into the first thing. So, I've been watching this story. I've been paying attention to it. I've been keeping it on my radar for an extended period of time. I want to address this. This is a conversation that we having specifically about the people in Mexico getting kidnapped. I got so many thoughts about this. Rita, what is your theory about the people that got kidnapped / executed, shot at, ran away from, just based off of what you know so far? And I'm not sure how extensive you've researched it or you've read about it. Thank you, King Spart. I'm going to be reading the super chats throughout the show. What do you think about this whole kidnapping thing?
I think they was over there for some funny business.
You think that they was over there finessing? You don't think they was over there doing what they said that they was going to do in the first place?
No.
It sounds crazy, don't it?
More to it than that.
Well, let's hear what they got to say, and then we're going to deep dive into it, and then we're going to extract the lessons that come along with it. Make sure you get a like for the YouTube algorithm, subscribe to the channel. Again, if you need to kick it with me personally, email me at antondaniels413@gmail.com, and I'm going to get you set up for a Zoom call or a personal call. And then in addition to that, if you have not already, make sure you tap into the Patreon. Link is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the
The
chat.
tragedy in Mexico. Two of the Americans who were kidnapped after crossing the border are back in the U.S. this morning. And you're looking live at the hospital where one of them is being treated in Brownsville, Texas. The other two Americans were killed. Matt Rivers is in Mexico City with the latest for us. Good morning, Matt.
Good morning, Michael. One person has already been detained in this case, but with so many U.S. law enforcement agencies putting pressure on their Mexican counterparts to find who is responsible here, more arrests could be coming soon. This morning, 2 of the 4 Americans kidnapped in Mexico now waking up on U.S. soil after surviving this horrific attack. Armed men seen loading the group onto a pickup truck in Matamoros Friday. Their other 2 friends did not survive.
2 U.S. citizens were returned to the United States. The bodies of 2 other U.S. citizens killed in the same incident were also recovered.
Eric,
How safe do y'all feel when y'all traveling overseas? I'm very, very careful about even going into cities that I'm not familiar with. I gotta really, really like know the city, know the area, know what's happening or whatever. We've gotten so good down in Miami that we don't even use GPS no more to go nowhere that we go. We be like, oh, you heading over there? We feel like we one of the locals. Hey, let's head over here. Let's go. Like, but I'm still like head on a swivel, keeping my mind right, understanding how people is moving, looking at how fast this car is going, what neighborhood I'm driving by. Y'all just be going over in these other countries just feeling comfortable. Now, again, I'm a look at the rest of this, but just in a general sense, why do we feel so secure and safe just because we're at a tourist destination or whatever? It be people that be going over to Jamaica, they be going over to Mexico, they be in different countries, the Dominican Republic, and they just be walking around in different places that they not even familiar with, just being food for people. That's like coming to a city that you're not familiar with. Go to Chicago and then just walk around the South Side, and you don't even know that it's the South Side of Chicago. Come down to Detroit and then walk through the red zone and just walk through the red zone, and that's just the way it is. And y'all just be willy-nilly just going and get wild procedures. Y'all be over in Turkey and Mexico and going over to different places getting procedures and going to get health care and all of this other type of stuff, and y'all don't know nothing about what's happening over there. That's wild to me. I'm reading super chats throughout the show.
James Williams and Latavia Tay McGee making it out alive. McGee seen here with law enforcement shortly after she was rescued. A convoy then taking the survivors to the border near Brownsville, Texas. The 2 then crossing over to a waiting ambulance. McGee's mother describing the moment she found out her daughter had survived.
I had to hold on. I was thinking the Lord. I said, thank you, Jesus. There is a God.
Williams now in a Brownsville, Texas hospital after undergoing surgery for multiple gunshot wounds to his legs. His wife Michelle able to speak with him briefly.
It was just tears of joy, I guess, that he's alive. I didn't even want to imagine what he was going through or, what any of them were going through.
2 other members of the group, Shaid Woodard and Zindell Brown, tragically killed. Authorities finally finding the missing Americans after a 3-day manhunt. Leading them to this wooden house in Lagunona, outside Matamoros. A 24-year-old man identified.
I know y'all couldn't hear me. I was saying some things I wasn't supposed to say. Don't worry about it. I'm very, very careful about what it is that I'm saying right now. I know y'all couldn't hear me. I'm saying some things that I wasn't supposed to say. I muted myself on purpose, all right?
His name, Jose, arrested. Mexican authorities say he was in charge of watching the Americans. According to her family, McGee had traveled with the others from Lake City, South Carolina to Mexico. Lake City, according to her family, by his first after a 3-day manhunt, leading them to this wooden house in Lagunona, outside Matamoros. A 24-year-old man identified only by his first name, Jose, arrested. Mexican.
Don't ever trust Jose I know a Jose. I know a man named Jose. He was a snake. He was a straight up snake. I know a man named Jose, and he was a straight up snake. All right? Don't trust Jose and don't trust Jesus. Let me say that again for the people in the back. Be very careful about dealing with Jose and Jesus. They're going to spell it Jose, okay? And then they're going to have that little hyphen thing at the top. And then they're going to spell it Jesus. They tried to remix Jesus' name and the Jesus in order to get you to trust them. I don't trust Jose and I don't trust Jesus that's over in a completely different place that I don't know. If I run into a Jose and he 24 years old and they telling me that he's the person that's responsible to getting me wherever it is that I need to go, we got a problem. Oh, he watched him. Look at me. I didn't did a whole discrimination. Good thing Jose not over here. He would have did a whole live stream about me. Jose would have did a whole live stream about me for getting it wrong. Anton called me part of the kidnapping group. No, Jose, I'm sorry. I got trust issues when it comes to other countries. You know what I'm saying?
Authorities say he was in charge of watching the Americans. According to her family, McGee had traveled with the others from Lake City.
Hey, shout out to Our Streets, because Our Streets sent me over that Venmo. Listen, I appreciate you. She said, what about Carlos and Juan? Don't trust Carlos, don't trust Juan. Don't trust Carlos and don't trust Juan. All right?
City, South Carolina to Mexico to get cosmetic surgery. When the four crossed into Matamoros on Friday...
So they said that they went over there for cosmetic surgery. I told y'all. I warned y'all. Y'all keep talking about how good all of these foreign countries are when it comes to their healthcare system and all of that other type of stuff. Okay. Go ahead. You're going to go ahead and get you a BBL and get kidnapped. Go ahead and get you a BBL because you're trying to get 10 grand off and they promised you a BBL for $1,500 over in a foreign country. Go ahead and see what happened. Go on with your bad self. You think it's cute? You going over to Mexico so that you don't have to be on that Spirit flight, sitting on your knees, facing the wrong way of the seat. Now, I don't see y'all because I be in first class on Delta, having a 3-course meal, having a good time. But y'all want to be over there in Mexico? Okay.
Her family says armed gunmen in body armor chased them, opening fire on their white minivan. The gunmen then kidnapping the group. A Mexican bystander also killed. Mexican officials now believe the shooting and kidnapping was a case of mistaken identity. A source close to the investigation telling ABC News the gunmen may have targeted the vehicle because they wrongly believed the group of Americans were rival human traffickers.
Or they seen a come up on y'all. Because the reality of it is that you can't be sure, and I certainly don't trust the Mexico officials or the police because I'm still following up with and keeping an eye on what's happening over there with Shanquella Robinson. We ain't got no kind of understanding. That was an open and shut case. None of that. Yeah, y'all thought I forgot about Shanquella Robinson. I didn't. We still ain't got no closure on that, and y'all already done forgot about it. Y'all was all gung-ho, and y'all was having a good time, and y'all was all motivated and all of that during the whole situation with Shanquella Robinson, and y'all forgot about it. We still ain't got no closure on. I don't trust the people that's over in Mexico. I don't trust the officials. I don't trust the police. I don't trust their president. Who the president over in Mexico? I don't even trust them. Nope.
Now, this case was solved relatively quickly here in Mexico, a country with an untold number of unsolved disappearances, kidnappings, murders.
So it got solved real quick, but they got a whole lot of unsolved stuff. Okay.
It's prompted a lot of criticism of Mexico's president, saying this case was only solved because Americans were involved, a deference given to the United States.
And you know, Matt, some lawmakers think U.S. forces should be allowed to target cartels in Mexico. Is that right?
Yeah, that's correct. Some U.S. lawmakers like Senator Lindsey Graham calling for some cartels to be designated as foreign terrorist organizations, which would set the groundwork for U.S. military intervention. But Mexico's president already saying he would not allow troops here into Mexico, and every expert I've spoken...
We don't want to use our troops to go over there dealing with y'all anyway. But check this part out, though. I got another story for you. Watch this.
All right, we have some breaking news on the Americans who were kidnapped in Mexico. We have just learned some new information about the hours leading up to when they were taken by members of a cartel gang. NBC News national correspondent Gabe Gutierrez joins us now from Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. Gabe, good to have you. So talk to us about these new developments. You learned about a fifth person who had been traveling with that group.
Not a fifth person. The story continues to unravel. Not a fifth one. Not number 5. Just so happened to be traveling with him. Okay.
Yes, Vicki, good afternoon. So yes, we're just hearing from a law enforcement official who is confirming to my colleague Ken Delanian that a fifth person was traveling with that group of Americans from South Carolina towards the Texas border, but that person got out of the vehicle before the border because they did not have the proper documentation to cross into Mexico. Now,
if this don't sound like one of the fishiest stories that I ever seen in my entire life, I don't know what is. If this don't sound like the fishiest, okay. So wait. So let's get this straight, y'all. Let's just put it in perspective. Y'all drove from South Carolina down through Mexico, through Texas, all the way to Texas to get to Mexico. You drove through South Carolina to get through Mexico. You don't have the proper documentation to be able to cross over the border. So you just get out the car and then they leave and go ahead and keep doing whatever it is that they're doing. Listen, I was born in 1982. I wasn't born yesterday. I was born in 1982. I was not born yesterday. Y'all not going to sit here and finesse me and try to convince me that this is anything other than fishy business that's more than whatever it is that's being presented to the news. Who forget their passport, who forget their documentation, who forget their ID, and you go on a whole trip and you don't even realize you got it until you get to the Mexico border, and then you just get out and you just keep on walking. You know what? I'm going to get out. The rest of them can keep going. That's what y'all do? Who do that? Is that possible? Listen, Canada is literally right across the street. You can go over to Canada in like 20 minutes from Detroit. Nobody forgets their ID going over to Canada. And if you forget your ID, because we've been over and back and forth into Windsor multiple different times, if you get your passport and you forget whatever, everybody go home together. Don't nobody leave nobody. Don't nobody leave nobody to go over to Canada and then just be chilling and you just hanging out at the border and you just gonna walk home. Not happening. You're not catching. No, we gonna all go home together. Come on, man. You rode through South Carolina, through the border, got out the car before you got to the border because you realized you didn't have your ID prior to getting to the border. Your peoples get over there. 4 of them, 2 of them get killed, 2 of them get shot, ended up in the hospital on an alleged kidnapping by a cartel. And this is the story that y'all came up with that we supposed to believe. I don't believe it. I'm not going for it. It's too many holes in the story. I am not, no way, no how it sounds. This sounds like a classic. Come on, man. Come on, man. This sounds crazy.
Also learning of a new video that had been originally posted on Facebook Live, and we can play some of that now. Now, this video appears to show that fifth person inside the vehicle. That video was apparently taken by Eric Williams. Now, he is one of the Americans who survived this attack. He is now recovering from a gunshot wound to the leg. But certainly, Vicki, this raises a lot more questions about the days leading up to this attack. We had constantly heard that this was just 4 Americans heading down to Mexico, that one law enforcement official said they were going down there for a medical procedure. And we've been speaking with family members here in South Carolina who said that this group of 4 Americans had been childhood friends, that they'd known each other for a long time, and that had been making this road trip. But again, now we're learning that, again, according to a law enforcement official familiar with the matter, that there was a 5th person. Certainly, that is certainly part of this investigation as it moves forward. We also learned, Vicky, from Mexican officials a little bit more details about the hours after the attack and the days after the attack, where Mexican investigators went to several different.
Latavia Washington, Eric Williams. Eric Williams sounds like a criminal. I'm not even gonna lie to you. And I'm sorry I'm stereotyping, but this is just what we do over here on the Millionaire Morning Show. Shaheed Woodard. Oh yeah, he was definitely at the forefront of whatever it was that was happening, and he was not doing what he was supposed to do. And Zendale Brown.
Hospitals to try and find these Americans that had been killed and injured, and they eventually found them in a wooden shack some 15 miles from Matamoros. Back to you, Vicky.
And to see the mood.
What none of them supposed to survive. Not one of them was supposed to survive. 2 of them got away. One of them just so happened to be a girl. None of them was supposed to survive. They found them in a shed hiding 15 miles away from where they got kidnapped. That sound crazy.
Inside that car, jovial people, friends going to support each other. That 5th person dodging a literal bullet. Gabe Gutierrez live in South Carolina for us. Thank you so much.
Crazy. So, what do you guys just so happen to think about what was going on in Mexico as this story continues to unfold? Usually you hear stuff about this. This is like stuff that usually happen with white people. Like black people, they just end up dead in this type of situation. They don't really survive and then come back from it and then be able to live to tell the story. They either move that weight or they just get caught up. They get caught up in a Mexican jail, and that just be the end of the conversation. It's either or for black people. White people, they don't really, they get kidnapped. They get asked for ransom and stuff like that. Usually when I hear these type of stories, they say, well, they asking for ransom and stuff. They don't just kill you. You know what I'm saying? So it's pretty weird to me. Anyways, moving on. I have a better story for you guys. I think that this is going to get progressively better today. All right. My favorite person in the whole wide world. Because he loved them white women. Let me tell you something. I know we complain about our black women a lot. White women, in my personal opinion, based off of what I've seen happen to people in both real life and on the news, black women, y'all ain't got nothing on white women when it come to being vindictive and plotting and planning on the dude's downfall. The whole MGTOW movement was started by white men. Did y'all know that? That the manosphere is really a white man thing. Black men, we got adopted. We merely adopted the dog. They were born in it. For those of y'all that don't know, movie trivia, what movie is that? You think darkness is your friend. You merely adopted the dog. I was born in it. Molded by it. I was barely a teen until I seen the light. This is a white man thing. The whole what's going on in Western culture, white people brought us here. Well, actually, black people sold us here, and then white people took advantage of it. But this whole culture by which we've seen Simp Nation rise, and then feminism and all of that other type of stuff. Good job. That's Bank. That's one of my favorite movies. This is a white man thing. White men started the MGTOW movement. White men came up with the red pill with the Matrix. White men were the ones that were originally complaining about their women. And so what you see happening here across the internet is something that we have embraced because we've seen our women go over into the feminist movement and being used by white women who were the original enemies of men. Let me tell you. White women were the original enemies of men. The problem is that black women said that we want to be like white women. I'm just going to tell you the truth. But white women said we need a way in order to become a minority, just like black people, because they getting all of the opportunities. They getting civil rights movements. They getting, when we go to apply for a job, if we both got the same resume, Shaniqua gonna get the job instead of me because my name is Susan. And then they started attacking y'all inside of the grocery stores and said, I'm gonna call the police on you. And that's what happens. And so black women said, you know what? Why'd you laughing? What is you giggling about? Rita's over here cracking up because she knows it's true. Black women said, I want to be like white women. I want to compete against my man. I don't necessarily want my family. I'm going to go ahead and plot against tearing up my family just like you. But then you didn't know that you wasn't white. You ain't white. You ain't white. He's still going to leave you for a white girl. Kanye told y'all, and then he did it. Listen, it's one thing for a man to tell you what he gonna do, and then it's another thing for him to execute on it, and you didn't believe him in the first place. He said, and when I get on, I'll leave your ass for a white girl. But y'all wanted to be like white women. Y'all wanted to participate in the feminist movement. Y'all wanted to go ahead and get y'all edges all across y'all head like that. Y'all wanted to be able to, and then when white women started getting y'all bodies, then y'all said, you know what? Double that. Not only am I going to get a BBL, I'm going to be built like an ant. Y'all black women that get these BBLs, y'all be built like a fucking fat ant. Y'all be king ants. So here we are in 2023. I'm reading super chats. Don't worry after the story. Right back to the foundation of where it is that we started. And Tiger said, you know what? It wasn't enough for me to be able to get my balls kicked in from Ellen DeGeneres. Or what was that chick's name? Nordigen. Whatever that lady was, that white lady that kicked his balls in and took half of his money and took his kids away from him and finessed him and ruined his career the first time. When he crashed his Cadillac into the hot fire hydrant trying to get away from a white woman. What was his first wife's name? He ain't got enough. He ain't got enough. He said, you know what, Anton? I don't watch the Millionaire Morning Show because I'm officially a billionaire, even after she took half of my shit. Okay. What's her name? Ellen what? I got the first name right? Yeah. Ellen the Norgishrin. It don't matter. Norgishrin, anybody with the name that end in ski, Kowalski, Nordistrin, and all of them type of one. Who? No, the Grin. Okay. Cool. Okay, Tiger. You don't learn. Let me tell you something. The grass ain't always greener on the other side. I know y'all think y'all Charles Barkley. I know you think you Lenny Kravitz and you can go and get you a white girl and she gonna be more submissive. I know you think you're gonna go over to the Dominican Republic and I'm gonna go over to Thailand and I'm gonna go and get me a Asian girl. And she gonna be more submissive. She gonna kick your black ass all up and down the street because the fact of the matter is you still taking you with you. And so Tiger, he ain't learned. He got an affinity for pain. He love him some white women. Okay, well, let's see what's going on. He said, listen, I did listen to Kevin Samuels. I'm not going to get married again because I don't see any benefit in me getting married. I already got kids, but I'm going to still go get me a white girl. Okay, Tiger.
There is news this evening involving Tiger Woods. His ex-girlfriend is now suing to cancel a non-disclosure agreement that she says he made her sign years ago. Here's Kayna Whitworth.
Tiger Woods first started dating Erica Herman in 2017 when she was the manager at Tiger's Jupiter, Florida restaurant.
First of all, look at this white woman. Look at this white woman. If this woman does not look like she could have played in Ghost with no makeup, I don't know who could. This woman, the edge thief got to her. She flat back. She looked like her. She only anorexic in the face. Lips this big. She natural though. Y'all love y'all some natural pale white women. Look at this. Not only did he go and get him a white woman, he got him a waiter from one of his restaurants. Talk about digging out the bottom of the barrel. You went and got you a waiter from one of your restaurants. You just dug straight on to the bottom of the barrel. Tiger, you were supposed to be our guy. You were supposed to be what LeBron James is today. Pristine, never getting caught up in a scandal. Doesn't necessarily represent our political views, but certainly married to the woman, a black woman of his high school caliber and up on a stand-up and taking care of business. LeBron James has built a whole high school and you over here fucking on your waiters. LeBron James built a whole high school for the kids and the parents to be able to go to college, and you over here busting down the waiter, Tiger. Still confused. Still confused. Know how to play golf out of your mind. Can't pick a woman to save your life. You just going for the waiters. Ain't nobody around you said, Tiger, don't pick up the waiter. Don't do it. Don't do it. Nobody around you got your back, huh, Tiger? Come holler at AntonDaniels.com. Listen, I got a little bit of money. I be hanging out in Miami, but I know you on a whole nother island. You over there. We pass your island every time we go over to Miami Beach. Come holler at me. I'm going to help you pick them.
6 years later, she's taking the 15-time major champion to court. According to a civil complaint filed Monday obtained by ABC News, Herman says when they first started dating, Tiger made her sign a non-disclosure agreement, an agreement she is now asking the court to render invalid and unenforceable.
Now, why would she want to render the non-disclosure agreement invalid and unenforceable? Why? What does she have to tell? Because you know, white women are something else. The culture, the nature of a white woman, it got the get back spirit in her. You know how when you was being raised in a Pentecostal church and they said your grandma, whenever you was acting out in school, she said, you got the devil in you. And Satan ain't got no place in my household. Then they wouldn't go and get the strap or make you get a twitch out the backyard. That's a whole nother conversation. Shout out to grandma. But white women, they have no limits. They will destroy everything about you. They will not only take you for child support, they will sue you to get that non-disclosure agreement removed. They will do everything in their power to make sure that they go and tell all your business. They gonna tell whether or not you straight or you got the hook. If you know, you know.
Or to define the scope of the agreement if any part is enforceable, citing, among other reasons, federal law, specifically the Speak Out.
Whenever a woman hold on to you like that in front of the cameras, she finessing you, bro. If a woman is holding your arm like that in front of the cameras and y'all matching, she full of the devil. I'm trying to tell you how to spot them, fellas. If a woman is pretending to hold your arm like that in front of the cameras when y'all got matching hats, first of all, don't let a woman tell you how to dress. Secondly, Redick keeps trying to do this to me every day. Honey, let's get matching outfits. I said, do I look like the boo-boo the fool? You're not about to have me out here looking like a whole fool. And we both got tracksuits that's very loud, making noise. We not doing that. We not doing that. No.
Act, which nullifies non-disclosure agreements in cases of sexual assault, disputes, and harassment disputes.
And this chick is a girlfriend.
While the filing does suggest the case involves allegations of sexual assault or harassment, it makes no specific allegations against Woods.
Until we know what her rights are underneath this NDA, we don't know who her complaint is against.
Hey, Shanna. Look at Tiger. Stressed, had a hard life. Ain't enough money can replace how much stress Tiger done had on him. Reading Super Chat shortly.
Woods played all 4 rounds in the Genesis Invitational in Los Angeles last month after a 7-month hiatus. The same tournament he was a part of before his car accident where he nearly lost his leg in 2021. Herman was there by his side. But the pair hasn't been seen together since last year's U.S. Open.
Because she was too busy meeting with lawyers to figure out how she can finesse you out of some money. She is a girlfriend. She's not even a wife. You know why let me tell y'all why she's suing, in my opinion, allegedly. Because you know these white women, they be coming for you. What I think she's suing for is so that she can then leverage any information about whether or not his cock hang to the side or not, so she can do a tell-all book. And then what happens is they leverage that information in order for you not to be able to, or in order to use against you so that they can possibly get a payout in order to keep the information. So then they signed another non-disclosure agreement that I will never release a book. I will never do a tell-all. I will never say whether or not your cock lean to the side or not. That's what she doing. That's the finesse. White women, I'm on to you. You thought that just because I held black women accountable that y'all was absolved from getting this smoke. White women, I'm on to you. The reason that she's suing in order to get the non-disclosure agreement removed is so that she can then position herself to get a payout in order to stay quiet about information that she knows personally about you. Now she know whether or not you like Puffy coming to your parties, possibly, and putting his finger up your butt. She know everything. She want to ruin you. She want to destroy you. And if she can't get the payout, she's going to release the tell-all book, even if she don't make any money as a result of it. She's willing to go down with the ship because white women are some of the most vindictive, evil women that I've ever seen in my entire life. They will tear your whole world apart. Listen, I know y'all think it's black women because those are the people. It's like crime, right? You're going to complain about the thing that you're around the most. The reality is that these women were the original demons when it came to it. Not all white women, but certainly a lot of them were the original demons, were the ones that fostered what happened when it came to feminism, that then adopted our crazy, deranged, out of a rabbit mind black women to go over into the feminist victimhood. And now y'all triple minorities and y'all the most enrolled, the most in debt, the least married, the least desirable, and you ain't got no man no more, and you about to hit the wall, and you showing up on Kendrick Cam doing a turnaround. How did that work out for you, black women? You should have stayed your black ass at home and followed your man. No, but you was over there trying to be like Susan and Gretchen. You wanted to be, you didn't know that Gretchen was just slumming. Gretchen went back home to her man so that she can sue him for his non-disclosure agreement and be able to get it removed so that she can get. Gretchen had a plan. Listen, Gretchen, Susan, Kelly, black women can be Kelly too, but it's a lot of white Kellys. All of them hoes, you know where they hang out at? Let me tell you how vindictive. I'm going to tell you the spirit of white women. They hang out on the football fields and outside the basketball locker rooms. They hang out in the hotel lobby 2 days before the basketball team arrives because they know the standard hotels in which the NBA's be there. I'm telling you the truth. How do I know this? Because I got friends in high places that tell me exactly what these women be doing. They put together, they plan like masterminds. They're chess players. They play the game to win. Y'all playing it in order to be able to get $15 so you can get yourself a pair of Reeboks down the street. They trying to take your soul, and they will sex you up. Y'all keep saying, yeah, white women is the freakiest. Why you think they the freakiest? Why you think they the freakiest? She said, listen, if I got to be down here giving some Gawk 3000, I'm going to get everything from you. I'm going to take your soul. Now Tiger can't leave him alone. Keep him a white woman right next to him. Okay, Tiger.
And David Herman filed a separate suit against Woods Trust back in October, asking for $30 million, claiming that Woods agents asked her to leave the home they were sharing together and then didn't let her return. David?
All right, Kana Whitworth tonight. Thank you, Kana.
Hi, everyone.
Shout out to Tiger. That's okay. You keep on messing with him. You keep on knocking them down. Y'all keep on adopting the thing that got y'all into this situation in the first place. The whole way I can't substantiate this to be the truth, but this is just what I think in my mind. The whole way that the slave trade got started was some white woman told her man, you know how we can really build this country up? Because I've been over there to Gambia, and those men are strong. And we can trade him. And then when you leave to go and take care of business, he can come in and bust me down. That was all the architect of a woman, a white woman. Hey, if you don't like it, then unsubscribe. It just is what it is. Make sure y'all hit a like for the YouTube algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications. Let me read some of these super chats. King Spark 5799 says, I don't like everything you say, but I'm smart enough to keep listening. I've heard a lot of things, but the way you put that one, I got to give you some credit for that. So shout out to King Spark 5799. I appreciate you. Shin C says, seen a few videos of cartels confronting tourists. Not Anton. I'm not playing that game. Persevere Data TV says LMAO Jose is pronounced with an H, not a J. Jose Aldoreto is the basketball player that will sneak and steal the ball from you behind your back. Shout out to my dog Julian Rook said Jamaican can be very dangerous for American women as far as SA. We know what that means. It has made Detroit news more than a few times for that, even on resorts. Facts. Ms. Jill 1991 says, sounds like someone is trying to buy weight. Allegedly. Christopher J says, The Dark Knight Rises. Facts. Now, y'all, okay, I'm going to test y'all every day with y'all movies. Jazzwiz Man says, I can't blame Tiger. If I was rich, I would have no D-discipline. Jesus. Jazzwiz Man. You got to get better. Jazzwiz Man, you've been hanging around here for a long time now. You got to get better, my friend. But I appreciate you for the super chat. He said, this is how most successful black men celebrities act. No, this is how most famous black male celebrities lose half of what they got and a reputation to go along with it. Enos Luby with the Fireball says, also, in this week's interracial news, I heard about Bill Gates' daughter. Bill Gates' daughter, Phoebe, shout out to Phoebe, has certain folks upset because she's dating Robert Ross. Don't understand. You know the fuss. You can't even bring a white girl home in 2023 without your mama calling her a white devil and why you don't like. And what? So you gonna bring Gretchen home and you just gonna completely ignore Shaniqua. That's a good girl over there. That's a good girl. And I've known her mama, Ella May, my whole life. You just gonna ignore Shaniqua over there. Never mind. Listen, I know she got a couple kids, but I'm not gonna have no white devil up in my house. Okay? That's what that y'all can't bring a white, y'all still scared. In 2023, y'all black ones are still scared to bring you a white girl home. And with good reason. Sam B says, for delivering a good word this morning. We're going to have some fun. Smooth Will says, salute Mr. Daniels. Appreciate you for the 2-ball. King Spark 5799 says, Chaotic going to get you for talking about his beloved white women. Chaotic keep telling us about how he married this darker than dark, kettle black Kenyan that looked like Naomi Campbell in her youth. And then be talking about some white women. Listen, who knows? I honestly believe that Chaotic probably got him a white woman. Chaotic is the type, and that's my guy. But I'm just going to keep it real with you. It is a strong possibility that Chaotic really is in love and is married to a white woman. That's why he won't get her pregnant, because he don't want to show no kids on there, and it'll look like, it'd be looking just like this. His kid going to be this color. It's going to be looking just like this, just like these AirPods right here. Shout out to my dog, my dog Chaotic. Mike Real Sports Life says, Jersey Chasers, chase that bag. I can attest. Shout out to my Jersey Chasers. Yo, for anybody that's not a part of the Patreon, link is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat. I appreciate you. I rock with you. Let's continue. Oh, my dog Classy Beats is in here with the Chasers. Make sure y'all tap into the Patreon. If y'all not a part of the Patreon, what is you doing? Let's move on. I want to get to the thick of things. All right? I want to get to the thing that make y'all the most upset. Y'all can't stand y'all a white man. I need to rename this live stream to white people or something. White privilege or something. Not agendas. Because agendas is something that was pertaining to these people that were walking over into Mexico. And then we don't really know why they there, but 2 of their people was gone, and then 1 person got out the car before they even crossed the border, but they drove 26 hours from North Carolina to get over to Texas. That's an agenda. An agenda is what Tiger Woods' ex-girlfriend has up her sleeve, in my opinion, based off of trying to sue him to remove the NDA so she can come up on the bag because she was never even supposed to be in Tiger Woods' presence in the first place, being a waiter at one of his restaurants. But I don't think that JJ Redick has an agenda. I don't think that JJ Redick. I think that JJ Redick is a good white man. He's one of the good ones. He treats us with respect. He's loves in on us. He's making shows that we got some good information coming on out of the NBA, looking at it objectively from a white man's perspective. I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm so tired of these overly strong, tall black men on these NBA sports shows giving us their takes and opinions. I don't want to hear from Ernie. Oh, Ernie is the white guy. I don't want to hear from Kenny. I don't want to hear from Jalen. I don't want to hear from Shaq. I don't want to hear from all of these guys that got rings that's been dominating the NBA for all of this time. I certainly don't want to hear from Shannon. He didn't even play basketball. I don't want to hear from all of these guys that are on these platforms giving us their opinion about what's going on with sports. I want to hear from me, a guy that possibly could have hired me or got me into college, or I could have copied off of his homework when I was going to private school back in middle school. Look at that good white man. Listen, if there was a crime that was being committed, and they gave you two possible suspects, and they show this good white man right here and the number one suspect over here. Excuse me, Mr. Daniels. There was a break-in at your house, and I'm sorry to tell you this, but they took everything. Now, I know that you had insurance. Philip, I'm reading Super Chats throughout the day. I know you had insurance, Anton. All right? So it's neither here nor there. But there's some stories that were corroborated by your neighbors, and we need to show you some mugshots. So we just want to know if you've ever seen either one of these gentlemen around your property within the last 6 months, okay? If you can point them out, let me know. And I'm going to be like, wait. And then they're going to be like, so we got the mugshots for you. Here we go. Was it Jake from State Farm? Was it your insurance agent? Or was it this guy that saw that talk like this? I'm going to be like, listen, Sheriff. Listen, Sheriff. I'm not one to stereotype, but I don't even need to see any more. Take Kendrick, and his name is Kendrick, and his last name is Perkins? Okay, what school did they go to? Well, JJ Redick his name is JJ. Man, listen. Not only am I going to convict this guy over here, I want to shake JJ's hand for apprehending the subject and calling the police on Kendrick over there. I'm just playing. I know y'all gonna do a whole skit. Y'all gonna have y'all little shorts together. This is why Anton is against black people. Oh, all right. So let me really get to the thick of things, all right? What happened was, how about we just play the video and then we're going to break it down afterwards.
Stephen, I mean no offense to you, and I mean no offense to First Take, because I think this show is extremely valuable. It is an honor to be on this desk every day. It really is. But what we've just witnessed is the problem with this show, where we create narratives that do not exist in reality. The implication, what you are implying, that the white voters that vote on NBA are racist, that they favor white people. You just said that. Yes, you did.
On First Take, fireworks flew with J.J. Redick, Stephen A. Smith, and Kendrick Perkins.
Yes, you did. Yes, you did. That is exactly what you implied, Kendrick Perkins. That is exactly what you implied. Secondly, hold on.
Yo, Kendrick Perkins is talking to JJ Redick, who, by the way, is substantiating his argument really well with proper English. Kendrick Perkins sound like the dude from the Green Mile. Kendrick Perkins sound like the dude from the Green Mile. I'm not even gonna lie. Now I like Kendrick Perkins takes, but he sound like the guy from the Green Mile. Look how many times he said, "I did not." Kendrick Perkins is talking like he on Clubhouse, not that he on ESPN. Listen to this nonsense.
Yes, you did. Yes, you did. That is exactly what you implied, Kendrick Perkins. That is exactly what you implied. Secondly, hold on.
I did not call. I stated the facts.
Angry black man. Don't you raise up your voice at me. Lower your tone. Substantiate your... Lower your tone. Substantiate your argument, sir.
The facts, and you're not about to sit up.
We all know what you implied the other day. We all know what you implied just now. Hold on.
I stated it's the facts. It's the facts. It's the facts.
Now look at JJ Redick. He got that good part in his head. Look like he just came from the beach surfing. Are you gonna go against this white man and knows how to substantiate his argument? Now, I will give JJ Redick credit in real life. All right, all jokes aside. He's calling out the reality of not only what happens in the NBA, as far as all of these people that's automatically accusing somebody of something that they didn't do simply because they had a different color. And this is one of the reasons why it's so important for me to joke with y'all like this. Because if I was white, it wouldn't fly. But the fact that I'm black, and you're so used to hearing it in your own circles, in your own households, and so on and so forth, as far as different people saying things that you then agree with simply because they're a different color from you or they come from a different space than you. And I'm so tired. I'm so tired of seeing people running the Victim Olympics and Kendrick Perkins assuming that the voters are racist because they picked a particular guy that's actually probably the MVP of this year in the NBA. How come black people can't lose at nothing? Especially when it comes to running, jumping, and putting the basketball in the hoop. Or rapping. Yo. Eminem is the most lyrical rapper that has ever come out of hip-hop. But y'all feel a certain type of way because he whacked. Let's continue.
In turn, Perkins erupted at Redick for what JJ felt was valid criticism of Kendrick's previous comments. Basically, here's what happened. Perkins accused Denver Nuggets center Nikola Jokic of stat padding. Thus, Redick went on First Take and was asked about Perkins's so-called stat padding argument.
And the best argument I can make of why this is such a ludicrous statement, they're 23-0 when he has a triple-double. Going back to last year, they've won 28 games in a row when he has a triple-double.
You want to slap box? At least allow me to be.
Look at this man with a wife beater on, going live, and he's supposed to be some sort of professional that is having a verbal spat in competition against JJ Redick. Now, this is good for TV. Finally, ESPN is doing something that actually is putting them in direct competition to actually not get the floor wiped with them from Shannon Sharp and Skip Bayless, okay? For those of you that's not familiar with sports. But the reality is that you got this grown man that is on here with his taco meat out now, and he got his wife beater on in order to try to explain exactly what it is that now, I haven't scrubbed through this much of the video, but it's a strong possibility he's going to tell them to pull up. You know what black men do that? Well, pull up, let's fight about it. Let's throw our fists about it. And then a white man going to pull up, get the snot beat out of him, and then he going to sue you. It's the same thing that I would do.
On TV to be able to throw my jabs and, my uppercuts.
Perkins didn't appreciate the comments and demanded they air it out on TV together.
When I look at JJ and I hear him talk, because he's so big in analytics and he's a historian when it comes down to diving in deep and going back into history and talking about the evolution of the game, why didn't he never bring up this in particular subject? When it comes down to guys winning MVP since 1990, it's only 3 guys that won the MVP that wasn't top 10 in scoring.
Let me guess. Steve Nash, Dirk Nowitzki, and I don't know, Nikola Jokic.
Do you know who those 3 guys were?
Who were they?
Steve Nash, Jokic, and Dirk Nowitzki.
Woo! Don't Anton know his basketball. Don't Anton know his basketball. Steve Nash, Dirk Nowitzki, and Jokic. Okay, Perk. Nice way to point out all of the white guys. It's funny, nobody talked about stat padding when it was Russell Westbrook that was trying to average a triple-double, and then he wound up getting the MVP, and he wound up, right after the guy that just got injured, Kevin Durant, that's now on the Phoenix Suns, that's chasing another championship. Nobody mentioned Kendrick. Kendrick never mentioned Russell Westbrook, stat padding, but it's okay. Don't worry about it.
What do those guys have in common? I'll let it sit there and marinate. You think about it.
Perkins was accusing the NBA and NBA media of racial bias in MVP voting. Thus, it set the scene for what we saw to open up this piece.
One thing we've learned from that is we can
look at Kendrick. He's so unprofessional. Look at Kendrick Perkins not being professional and listening to this good white man give his arguments. Come on, Kendrick.
Which players create good shots for their teammates. And Nikola Jokic is top 5 in shot quality created. So if you watch them play, Perk.
During the segment, Redick goes through how the numbers show Jokic is top 5 in shot quality created. In response, Perk pretends to be bored, closes his eyes, and pretends to fall asleep as well.
This idea.
Just like a black woman. Just like a black woman. Just act like she don't hear nothing that you're saying.
That Dirk and Steve Nash were favored to win the MVP because they're white. First of all, you stop short at 1990. That was your cutoff point for players to win MVP not in the top 10 in points per game, which is a stupid stat to judge MVP on. This isn't middle school. 1990, Magic won it. 89, Magic won it. 87, Magic won it. 87, he was 10th. 89, he was 15th. 90, he was 18th. Okay. We judge MVP year 2.
And you know why Kendrick Perkins wanted to stop at 1990? Because he knew if he went back to 1990, 89, 88, and 87, in which 88 or 89 and 90, the Detroit Pistons was whooping on that ass. He stopped there because it's called a white lie. And let me tell you what a white lie is for those of you that's in the back. A white lie is when somebody finesses the numbers, such as stopping at a particular point in order to be able to substantiate their argument, hoping that you don't have the additional stats to go along with it. It's somewhat like when people quote the Bible and they say one scripture. And then I'll tell them, okay, well, read the chapter before it and the chapter after it, and also what was inspiring about it and why did he write that letter to the Galatians and so on and so forth, because you can't take one thing out of context in order to substantiate your argument, because you can finesse it to being whatever it is that you want to say and say, but it's in the Bible. But it's not based off of the context in which you're using it. It's similar like in the Bible when somebody says, well, the Bible says that men are supposed to be submissive to their wives. No, it says submit to your wife like Christ does to man, specifically highlighting how man is supposed to be over his wife and he's supposed to be the foundation and the leader of his household. But they'll remove all of the other context that goes along with it as far as with the relationship that God has with the church or God has with man, and then man over woman and then woman over child. And then they say, well, he says to leave your parents and cleave to your, he that findeth wife findeth a good thing. And then they'll jump all around, but they won't add the additional context to understand exactly why God is saying that in the first place. And it's very similar to this situation in which he stopped at a specific year in order to substantiate his argument instead of listing the entirety of it so that you can actually disprove what it is that he's saying. But this good white man right here, he not going for it. He's not going for it, ladies and gentlemen.
It was just a strange thing It was just a strange.
But why did you cut it off at 1990 though? Because that was convenient. That was convenient.
I'm just saying.
That was convenient.
Time out. It was just a strange thing that it just happened. It was just a strange thing in 2006 when Kobe averaged 31. When he was playing with Kwame Brown and Smush Parker.
And what was the record that year? 42 and 40. They were 42.
Woo! JJ Redick know the exact record. The exact record. The exact record. Historically, the scoring champion doesn't always win the MVP. Carmelo Anthony, Kevin Durant, they didn't always win the MVP as a result of being a scoring champion. So to say just because he averaged 31 points doesn't necessarily substantiate that he should have been the most valuable player. But he did know that JJ Redick actually knew the record of what it was that he was rocking with. And so this is how you find yourself in a bad position.
So
let him speak. He's the most valuable player.
They made the playoffs with that roster. You take Kobe off that team, they probably win 8 games. Okay, so let's make that very, very clear.
Okay, so LeBron went from worst, or he took a team from worst to first, and then when he left the team, it went from first to worst. But nobody ever said anything about that either. But all right, let's continue.
When it comes to MVP voting, 80% of the voters are white American. 20%.
So that means that white people are the ones that watch the majority of the NBA. Is that what he's saying? And if that was the case, then why are you opening it up to voting from the fans in the first place? If the majority of the people, listen, when I go to these games, and this is the honest to God truth, and this is in the heart of Detroit. Detroit is one of the blackest cities in the United States of America. Our mayors had historically been black. Our police force had historically been black. The majority of the people that live within city limits are black. But the overwhelming majority of the people that actually spend their money, go to the games, and then substantiate what it is that we got going on as far as supporting their teams. First of all, the Red Wings is the hottest team inside of Detroit right now as far as long-term support from the people within the city. It's not the Lions. It hasn't been the Pistons. As a matter of fact, the Lions and the Pistons wasn't even in Detroit. The Red Wings, the white Red Wings, were the only team that never left the city. Think about that for a minute. Because I know y'all want to talk about black and blackity black and all of this other type of stuff. I'm talking about what I see from a city that had everything that was controlled by black people. The only team that didn't leave the city was the white team. The team that had the majority of the white players. White people historically drove down into the city to support their team. That's not how we operate. You can't get mad at the audience for what it is that they like to see when they're the ones that put their money up in order to support the product. That means that they then have control of what it is that's going on there. And the Red Wing historically has been called Hockey Town, and we have dominated all through the 80s and the 90s, even though it's a Canadian sport. We have dominated the 80s, the 90s, and the 2000s when it comes to winning championships. Regardless, the people that support the team are the ones that then get to determine what happens on the floor. It's just a fact. If you go to these basketball games, the overwhelming majority of the people that's at the basketball games, they are not black. They are white. It's a mixture now because black people are starting to get some money now. So we down there and we showing off. It's some white, it's some Chaldeans, it's some Arabic people. We popping now. We in the mix now. But the overwhelming majority of the people that spend the most money are white. Comerica Park, Detroit Tigers, the Lions. Mostly white people are the ones that's at these teams. It's just a fact. So you can't say something is racist just because the larger demographic of people that are voting, participating, and spending their money on a product just so happen to be a specific hue. Is hip-hop racist because the majority of the people that buy the music and go to the concerts are white? They not black? Think about that for a second.
Or others. I know that stat. If you want to talk about advanced stat, I do know that one.
Which led to this quote, as displayed on your screen, where JJ Redick went over Kendrick Perkins' implications, which of course the former does not agree with. How about Redick pulling back the curtain on First Take while on air for First Take, condemning the show for pushing false narratives? We all understand the performative and theatrical aspect of First Take and other daily debate shows, but a panelist calling it out in real time was rather brazen. Perkins, however, maintained that he wasn't pushing a hot take, stating, "This is how a lot of former African-American players have been feeling for decades."
It's always, woe is me. Y'all make all of the money. You get the majority of the cut. You get 49% of the revenue. You get 49% of the jersey sales. You get to go to China. You out here acting like John Morant. You're the highest paid, the predominantly ones that make all of the money when it comes to it. They even gave Michael Jordan a team over in the NBA. They even gave Jordan a team, and they don't open it up to anybody. The NFL ain't opening it up to nobody. Lamar Odom, well, never mind. Let me be quiet. I don't want to tell y'all about that.
Now, above the original video, fellow sports media member Chris Williamson would write, "Racial bias definitely exists in the NBA and other leagues when it comes to how players are covered. Can't just dismiss that." Directed, of course, at JJ Redick. The always insightful Bomani Jones would weigh in before Nash won his MVP. As I recall, the biggest voice to question whether race played a role in his candidacy was Bill Simmons. My old buddy Dan, as in Le Batard, made the same point and caught hell from colleagues. He goes on, "I mentioned that to say how white dudes receive white ball players can be a weird thing to untangle. Nobody patronizes white hoopers more than white dudes, but when they're excellent, well, that's a little different. It can sometimes go too far. When things get dissonant, and it sounds like white people are going a little far to hype up a white dude, well, yeah, some people are going to wonder what's going on. It wouldn't be an unfair question to ask."
So it's an unfair question to ask when white people support white players, but it's not an unfair question to ask when black people support black players. If you want to be equal, and this is the same thing that we say to women all the time, if you want to be equal, then play the whole game without complaining about it, because that's what men go through. That's the thing that we tell women every single day. Okay, you want this equal, then you got to take it equal on both sides. You got to take the good with the bad. You got to do the hard jobs. You got to do the good jobs. You also need to be aware of what's going on in family court, and we need to change those laws. You also need to be aware of what men go through when it comes to prison and reform and dying and doing the hardest jobs and so on and so forth. Okay, you get this work. You get this work. Nobody is ever going to complain about black players being supported by black fans, ever. So I have no problem with white players supporting white fans because they support black fans too. I'm just tired of the racial politics that's going on TV, on social media, all of this other type of stuff. We gonna hold people accountable based off of their individual actions, but we're not gonna ignore the stereotypes because y'all are the ones that continue to feed into it. Y'all are the people that continue to highlight, celebrate, and champion and have a conversation about how it is that we're supposed to be moving. Don't be surprised when you start to get these people, such as that boy over at that HBCU, that white boy, that's suing the HBCU for racial discrimination and bias now. Don't be surprised when white people start riling up because they get backed into a corner, and now they're starting to speak their mind because now they're starting to feel disenfranchised because they feel like the only voice in the room is the ones that then continue to run in the Victim Olympics. You're going to start seeing a lot of pushback, and things are going to get worse before they get better because people are tired of people running in the Oppression Olympics, the Victim Olympics, claiming racism for everything that they don't like. And frankly, I'm tired of it myself. I am. Let me read some of these super chats and see what's happening out here in these streets. No, I'm not going to go white face or fluted. I am going to get this gray out of my beard before tomorrow, hopefully. Ed Beatty says the fifth person got out of the car like Trey from Boys in the Hood that lets you know they was up to no good. I agree. I think that they got out of that car because they was like, you know what? I'm scared. I don't want to cross this border. But that's just my opinion, and obviously yours too, Ed. Philip Sadiq, shout out to you for the 10 ball. Thank you, my friend. He said facts. Christopher J says, I'm a KP supporter. He's dead wrong on this. Kendrick Perkins supporter. He's dead wrong on this. He would have had a better argument using Joel Embiid's stats, 42 points, 18 rebounds, 4 assists, 4 blocks for MPP. However, you use something as cheap as racism. Bad look. I agree. And Denver, I believe, got the best record out there in the West. Aaron says they kill Westbrook about stat padding every day his whole career, especially after KD left, even when he won the MVP. Brock says, excuse me, Mr. Anton Daniels, I strongly disagree with you. Eminem is not the most lyrical rapper. Kodak Black is the best rapper alive. I'm trolling. Shout out to Brock with the 5-ball. I appreciate you. Aaron with a couple more says 3000 is better than M lyrically. No, he's not. Never has been. He's never even dropped a solo album. Detroit Sport. Well, we know Aaron got a bias because Chicago is trash, and he moved. Chicago is so trash that Aaron not only doesn't support his team, he moved away from his team. He won't even go to Chicago. So shout out to y'all, but shout out to y'all for the super chats. Listen, I did want to make a little bit of fun. I wanted to joke a little bit. I wanted to troll y'all a little bit, have some good conversations, but also I wanted to continue to bring up the important issues that we deal with every single day. Oh my God, look at you guys that's continuing to support the platform. I don't know what to do with y'all. Sometimes I think Shout out to Purpose and Resilience for the 100 ball. Says my brother, keep dropping those gems. I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. Y'all are the greatest people on earth. Shout out to my bag chasers. Link is in the description and as well as pinned to the top. Oh, y'all want to do the Chicago versus Detroit thing? Y'all want to do Chicago versus the Detroit thing? Y'all don't want to do that. Y'all can't even keep y'all own stadium. All of our sports teams moved back into the city. Y'all sports teams are starting to move out of the city. Y'all got Lori Lightfoot losing the Bears. The Cubs ain't won in forever. Don't y'all got 2 baseball teams? Man, don't get me started. I will go all in. Y'all out there sitting up there with Lonzo Ball, DeMar DeRozan got one of the highest payrolls in the league and probably ain't even going to make the playoffs this year. Please don't let me go off on Chicago. I like Chicago. I just don't like to visit because I don't want to get robbed. All right? Shout out to the South Side. Shout out to King Vaughn, FBDG, EFC Duck, and all of the rappers from Chicago, Chief Keef that made killing awesome in hip hop. I love you guys. You guys are absolutely awesome. Please don't let me go in on Chicago. Thank you, Purpose and Resilience, for the 100 ball. I will absolutely nuke your whole city. The whole thing. Not half of it, the whole thing. I will nuke Chicago. We can't even visit the Bean no more because they're going to shoot it up. Shout out to the Bean in Chicago. Shout out to the Miracle Mile out there. Don't do it, Chi-Town. Christopher J says Eminem versus 3000. 3000 will get washed. MB says, joining the Bag Chasers. This content is too good not to support. Thank you, Anton, for all that you do for the community. You are appreciated. Thank you. I appreciate you, my friend. Let me also give a highlight to Kimangelo03, or Kimangelo says Lupe Fiasco appreciation needs to become a thing. He all right. Best thing to come out of Chicago is actually Twista. Best thing to come out of Chicago is Twista. That's it. And Do or Die. POMP ology, but logically be Lebanese host biology. Obviously, well. And then y'all mess it up with Crucial Conflict. Do you want to ride in the backseat of a caddy and chop it up with Do or Die? Whoa, why do you want to ride with me? Baby, come and ride with me. I love you. I appreciate you. I need y'all to do me one more favor before we get up out of here. Make sure you tell your family and friends, we don't want to be successful and rich by ourselves. Thank you for tuning in. I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. You guys are absolutely awesome. Everybody except for that's from Chicago. But Chicago, y'all be back tomorrow. Y'all be back good tomorrow. We just need to get the Bears up out of there because y'all don't know how to manage your sports teams. Listen, I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. You guys are absolutely awesome. I'm going to holler at y'all tomorrow. Peace.